Hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. In today's exciting episode, we take a look at everything that I made in November and December 2024.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
So at the end of October, I made my daisy jacket and I love, love, love that one. So what I did next was made the lobster jacket, which again is just a short cropped kimono style jacket or bolero. And the daisy jacket had really, really long sleeves, and it also sort of was too much fabric in the front, so I sort of overcompensated with the lobster jacket. And the reason I have the lobster fabric was because I was going to make this lobster layer cake dress. And so I got really, really carried away about getting the orange, the reds, and the blues all together. And I forgot to use the actual lobster fabric. So I was like, okay. And a month or two later, I was like, right, it's time to use the lobster fabric. I'll make a matching jacket that I can wear with the dress. So we have lobsters, and this is the actual first I made the jacket, obviously. Then I beaded it. So this is the jacket that I made, and it's got 2 layers of netting as the structural layer, so the sleeves sort of stick out a bit, and this is me just comparing the two. So as I said, it's a little bit more cropped and the sleeves are a little bit shorter and they're sort of angled as well, because with the daisy jacket, as much as I love it, the sleeves sort of go under your elbows and like they're really, really long. So I just sort of try a version where it was a little bit shorter, and I also cropped the back and made it a little bit less baggy because I'm such a small frame that it's kind of, I always feel like if I'm wearing something that's baggy, I feel like I'm completely swamped. So I just made it a little bit more fitted. I think I overcompensated a little, and at the front the centers don't meet, which is it's the design of it, but I don't know. I don't really like it. I prefer it when my jacket sort of goes right to the 2 fronts meet, and that way you can decide whether you want to wear it more casual and open or closed. So anyway, then I beaded it, and there's 4 different types of beading on here. So I wanted to use up my animals. There's animal beads in purple and blue. Like you can get them when you buy them from like a kid's store or whatever. They're mixed colors, and like the yellow ones are all awesome. The pink ones are completely adorable. The green ones I used on the Paris jacket, which you'll see in a bit. And so the blue ones and the purple ones, I was like, what am I ever going to use these for? But then as I made the lobster jacket, I was like, I know. So I used them, but there were still big gaps in between. So then I used some glass ones that are sort of ocean color, as well as some mauve ones. This is me putting out the mauve hearts and the mauve squarey tile ones. And then in between that, I did stacks of seed beads, and I've lined this one. Many of my jackets I haven't lined yet because I'm a lazy daisy, but this one is actually lined in sort of matching fabric. It's sort of, bluish. And and it's got orange flowers on it, and this has got orange lobsters. And the design feature on the back is a red triangle, and I used some sequins and also beads, and it's got a sort of real mosaic feel to it because I used the same type of bead and just sort of went round, and then I really like it. Anyway, so that is the lobster jacket, which I absolutely love. It's very heavy, but because it's so small, it's not too heavy. Like if I'd made a bigger, baggier jacket, like some of the other kimono style jackets that I'm going to show you, it would have been too heavy. But because it was such a small fitted jacket, it carries the weight well. So next I made the pineapple jacket. Now this did not start out as a pineapple jacket. I got this satin fabric. It's a jacquard, and it has goldfish on it, or koi fish with beautiful big fan tail. They're woven in gold thread, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, this is me showing you when I bother to line a jacket. I feel like I need to show you that I bothered to line it. So yes, I did make the outer jacket, then I did the beading, and then I hand stitched in the lining. So it is quite the process, but it's the best way to do it. And yeah, so originally I was going to leave the patches where the fish were, but it just looked weird. So I just beaded it all over, and then I was like, actually, this looks like the texture of a pineapple. And then I remembered I had these pineapple beads, so I strung them on little green beads, and I put a gold flower over the top, so it sort of looks like the spiky bits of a pineapple. And now it's my pineapple jacket, and I absolutely love it. I never thought in my entire life that I would have a pineapple jacket, but I do, and I absolutely love it. And it took me so long to make and bead those two jackets that's practically all I did for the whole of November. So in the last episode, I quickly made 5 or 6 jackets, 6. So, and they're all the kimono style jackets. So basically like the daisy jacket, but a few tiny tweaks. And we had the leaf jacket, the grey felt jacket, the pink felt jacket, the satin green chrysanthemum, the cotton, this one here, khaki with the purple flowers or mauve flowers on it. And then the last one was the peacock feather one. So yeah, and I sort of made them all in a go. And some of them I've done the hand finishing on, but some of them I have not. So the one you just saw, I was busy reading off a list, but I don't think I did the hand sewing on that one. What I did is I've done the cuffs of the sleeves, so they're finished, and the hem is finished. But the center front, up the center front and around the neckline, because I was going to make a lining and stitch it in, but I never got around to it. And those are the bits you can leave if you're going to stitch in your lining. So yeah, with using a machine. But what I'm going to have to do is hand finish the center front, hand finish the neckline, finish the beading. And once the whole outer jacket is done, then I'll make the lining. Well, I'll refine the pattern because I filed it away somewhere. But it's okay. I collect all the pieces of the pattern, label them, and put them in a resealable bag, and then I just have to go through all the bags to find the right pattern. So the pattern exists, I just have to find it. And yeah, and then I have to make a lining and hand stitch it in. I made this jacket in November and didn't bead it until December, but this video is everything I made in November and December. So First I beaded it with these smaller, regular size bugle beads. Actually, they're giants, but they're smaller compared to these super giant ones. And it looked okay, but this just looks amazing. It's got a green glow to it, these green ones. And to differentiate the design feature on the back, the triangle that sort of looks like a stained glass window, I used green thread when I was doing the triangle, and around the rest of it I've used navy blue thread, which I can tell, but I totally understand if no one else can tell. But it makes the tiniest difference, and it just makes the triangle stand out a little more. And I love the weight of the glass beads on this jacket. So when you see the other ones, they have the sleeves sticking out because they're not weighed down with beads yet. But keep in mind that leaf one, because once they have the weight, see, this looks ridiculous. Once they have the weight of the beads on there, it would look beautiful. So this one, again, I've finished the seams on the seams on the cuffs, so the sleeves and the bottom of the jacket, but I haven't done the center front or the neckline, which I have to do. And once I've done that, then I was originally going to embellish this, which means do the beads all over the jacket. But recently I've been doing hanging down beads, like dripping around the neckline, the center front, and around the bottom and the cuffs of the sleeves. And I think that would work really well with this one. So I've got some dark purpley beads and some black beads. So I think I'll go around like a sort of a big amount of each of those two colors. So I think I will go around and just have beads dripping off it, because I really love the feathers. And if you put beads all over it, it would sort of obscure that. So I think that's what I'm going to do for that one. This one here is absolutely gorgeous, this satin fabric with green chrysanthemums in it. I know nowadays we think chrysanthemums are super daggy, but like a century ago, when the West was sort of just getting into everything Oriental, there was just this massive, massive craze for chrysanthemums because they were seen as this exotic, amazing flower. So that's why in designs of this era, they have the most beautiful spider chrysanthemums. So that one, I think I'm going to bead with glass beads, so it's got a really nice weight to it. I have some smallish green cut glass beads, and so they're quite small and not very heavy, but I've got hundreds and hundreds of them. So I think if I individually stitched each of them on, the weight would be, it would make it look really beautiful, sit really well, and you'd see the glimmer of the glass, and from certain angles you would be able to tell that they're green, not clear. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that one. And then this one here is a Christmas fabric that so in December I did mostly beading, but I made 2 jackets. Again, this is a variation on Simplicity 9124. And it was just such a pretty fabric, and it's a border print, so it's got lines and and it was difficult to, I only had 1 yard of it, and this particular style, kimono sleeve style jacket, takes a yard in the size that I make it in. And I managed to get them to sort of match across the front, which was very cool. So I will need to finish the seams on the centre front and around the neckline for that, and then I'll bead it next December during Vlogmas. I absolutely love the amaryllis flowers, those star-shaped flowers, and the poinsettias. I think what I'm going to bead it with is a mix of red, black, white, and green, and I think I'll do a flag on the back, or maybe a big red triangle. Anyway, so that's going to be next December. And this is the second jacket that I made, the Paris jacket. Just before I made those 2 jackets, I was doing a bead haul, and the orange and apricot beads, I had to put them on fabric so they didn't roll everywhere. And I had just pulled out this blue fabric that I bought a few months earlier, and I was like, oh my gosh, they look awesome together. But then when I made up the jacket and I stitched some of the apricot and orange beads on there, they just didn't look as good as I'd envisaged. So then I put blue on blue, and that looked good. But then I remembered that I was also doing another bead haul, the bright green one. And so then I was like, oh, bright green and blue look awesome together. Let's do that. So I did that. And then because it's a Paris jacket, it's got like Notre Dame, it's got the Louvre's Sacré-Cœur, the White Church, and the can-can dancers from Moulin Rouge and macaroons and all different Paris things. And so I did that, and I was like, oh, vertical gardens were kind of invented in Paris by a French guy who grew up in Paris. So I decided in my infinite wisdom to also add vertical garden style beads so that it looked like there were plants growing out of the little bricks in between, like each illustration is kind of on a brick. And so it's kind of got 3 jackets worth of beading on 1 jacket, which is ridiculous. But I do love the blue on blue beads. I do love the green and the blue together. They're amazing. And I absolutely love the vertical garden style beading. Like, I love the vertical garden style beading so much that after when I finally finished this Paris jacket in January and I started doing my make 9s, I was like, oh, I've got to do another vertical garden jacket because that one was so much fun and I love the way it looks. So it is a little bit heavy, but it's amazing, and it's just made me want to do like a billion vertical garden jackets. I would love, you know how people have those conservatories? It's like a glass room and they've just got plants like growing everywhere and hanging down and everything. I would love it if I had like a dozen different vertical garden jackets and I could like hang them somewhere. And that could be like, instead of having plants that, you know, might die if you have to go away for a week or two or whatever, I could have like a little vertical garden of vertical garden jackets. It would be so, yeah, I'm very easily amused. What can I say? So anyway, oh, and the design feature on the back, you know how I normally just do a triangle? On this one, I did triangles on the sleeves as well, smaller ones. And then the back triangle, I did vertical garden elements in that as well, which I absolutely love. And when I make the next vertical garden jacket or jackets, they are definitely going to have that. And then because I was doing all this beading, you know, it's fun to do, but it's not very cinematic. You can't say, look, I did another 2 hours of beading. See that row? It's kind of boring. So I filmed all my jackets and I did aqua jackets, the pale green ones, the purple and yellow ones. I did all in one. I don't have that many purple and don't have that many yellows, so they were all in one video. I have so many green jackets that I had one for pale green jackets, I had one for dark green jackets, I had one for khaki and olive jackets. Did I have a separate one for bright green jackets? Possibly. I can't remember. And yeah, and blue, I had the pale blues and then I had the navy blues. And I had a couple of other ones that, and then I had a rainbow one, which had a few magenta ones in there as well. So it was, and the gold one was super, super popular. I did not realize I had an entire collection of gold jackets. It's pretty amazing. But it also made me realize how much I love them. Like, they've just got so much energy and they're so ridiculously over the top. And the one thing people uniformly say about me, well, two things, is that I'm far too serious and too wholesome. So I just think me in a gold jacket is just, I don't know, it amuses me in just the most adorable way. Anyway, so the next, oh, and I'd made this grey felt jacket right at the end of November. So I started beading this and I just did the first layer of beads in because I was doing so much work on that Paris jacket. I was like, oh, okay, I better stop doing that for now. And because I swear I was just having so much fun doing the vertical garden beading, I was like, okay, I've got to do something else that I can make a video out of. So I did the first layer of this. And yeah, if you want to look at the January, everything I made in January 2025, then you can see the finished grey jacket because it's amazing. But also I made several videos on that during January because that was so much fun to bead as well. Again, I did like one layer of base beads, then I did a canopy, a second layer of beads, a grey flower shaped beads, and then I did these chandelier beading. It was so much fun. I thought I lost this bit of footage, but I've just found it again. So this is me taking you through all my beautiful grey beads. So I had 5 different types of beads. 3 of them I had loads of, like loads. And the other 2 types I didn't have very many of. These are my favourite ones. They look like they're from the 1930s or 1940s or something. I absolutely love them. But that's pretty much what I've laid out there. That's pretty much all I had. So when I did the first layer of beads, I used these 2 here as well as the brownish one because I had loads of them, and then the larger ones and those pretty ones with the coating, the oil slick coating on them. I only had a few of them, so I dotted them over the top in January. But yeah, the grey jacket's awesome. Really happy with the way that turned out. And then this one here is the pink felt jacket that I said that I made in November, but I didn't show you because I forgot to keep a picture of it just as felt. Originally, I've got pink flowers, like I've got those grey flowers. I also have pink ones, and this was going to be a pink jacket. But when I was getting all my jackets out, these are the navy ones. And if you see near the pink jacket, the next one in is this amazing tweed that's navy blue and pink. And oh my gosh, I love that jacket so much. And I had these blue flowers left over from the cactus flower jacket. Ooh, the cactus flower jacket is amazing. That's the last one on this episode. But yeah, because I finally finished it in December last year. But yeah, so I decided to make this one blue and pink instead of just pink on pink. The only problem with this is it's a biggish jacket. Like, it takes almost a yard of fabric to make this jacket, almost entirely, a whole yard. And whereas the jackets I'm making now are the tiny little fitted boleros, which only take half a yard. So it's got relatively a large amount of surface area, which means you put a lot of beads on it. And these are all big, heavy beads, like they're solid beads. They're not hollow. So, I mean, the sequin are obviously really light, but I've anchored them with big beads, so it's actually really heavy. So I think what I'm going to have to do is take all these beads off. I know some of you absolutely love this jacket, love it to bits, and I've mentioned before that I might have to take it apart and redo it. It will look the same, the new jacket will look the same, but because it'll be on a small woolen pink fitted jacket, it will be half the weight because it will be fitted. It won't have those big baggy sleeves. So it'll pretty much look exactly the same, but I will be able to wear it. It won't be too heavy for me. So yeah, because I like to think about what I'm going to wear in like 10 years, 20 years, and I'm 50 now. So when I'm 60, I think I'm just going to, osteoporosis might, be a factor. So I have to factor these things in. Anyway, this jacket here is the second jacket that I made on my channel. So it's not the second jacket I made ever, but I started my channel a few years ago, and the first one I made was the purple Italian tweed, and the second one was, it might have been the peach one, the second one. Well, it was one of the first jackets I made. So my videoing skills aren't fabulous in that video, but I made this one episode was me making the tweed jacket, and the second episode, part 2, was me making the beaded trim. And I love the beaded trim, but it's just a bit too big and bulky. And when you're wearing something that delicate and valuable, it's just easier if it's beautiful, but I would wear the jacket more if it was more wearable and the beads weren't so it was just too precious. So I was afraid to get it to wreck it. So I took all the beads off carefully, put them back in their bags, and I'm going to make something else. The tweed is pink, but it's got flecks of dark red in there. So I've got gummy bear shaped beads in pale pink, hot pink, and red. So I think I'll use them on it. And this is the last thing that I finally finished in December 2024. So this is my cactus flower jacket. So the actual tweed jacket I think I made the year before. Goodness, yes I did. I made it in Vlogmas 2023. And for New Year's Eve, I think I make gold jackets for each New Year's Eve. And not that I ever go out and party, but I do like making gold things. And it's a Marc Jacobs tweed. If you go to the designer fabric stores in New York, they buy up from all the designers in New York. They buy up their leftover fabrics, so you can get these amazing fabrics for, they're not cheap, but relative for what they are, they're amazing deals. And they're such good quality. So I made this gold tweed jacket. I was like, well, how am I going to bead this? There's this amazing Valentino collection from 2017, 2019. I can't remember. Anyway, it's like Roman dresses with gold beading, with red and gold beading on it. Really amazing. But I don't know, red's not really my colour. So I was thinking about that. But then I was going through my sequins, and I have these big oversized oversized, childish, like Disney princess flowers. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make a jacket, and it's going to be like, I don't know, the pink ones in particular and the orange ones kind of look like cactus flowers to me, like really. So then I decided to just cover the entire jacket in them. It was so much fun making it. But yeah, I kind of got, by the end of it, I was like, oh, I had this bit under one of the sleeves left to go and a little bit under the other sleeve to go, and I just sort of ran out of steam. So it languished on the work in progress rack for quite some time, for a few months. And then in December I realized there was only like 15 flowers left to sew onto the jacket, and then the whole thing would be finished. I was like, right. Because it's quite the challenge, December, doing Vlogmas and having to make a different video every single day. I mean, you don't have to, but I don't know. I like pushing myself. So all the flowers are finally finished, and I guess the jacket's done, but I don't know. I kind of want to do a design feature on the back, like, you know how I normally have triangles on the back of everything. I've got these transparent green leaves, and I think if I put little leaves in between, I know the cactus, it's called the cactus flower jacket, and cacti don't actually have that, but I don't know. Anyway, still have to make the lining as well. So that is it for everything I made in November and December 2024. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've been inspired to make something fabulously gold for yourself. It's so much fun working with gold fabrics. A little bit tricky because they're, metallic threads, a bit notoriously difficult to work with, but totally worth it. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and happy sewing.